Hey, good morning, guys. Hope you had a great spring break. We're back, and that's why I wanted to send you a video today, just to let you know. We have things due tomorrow evening at 11:59 p.m. And you can see for this week, I mean, it's a full slate of assignments. We have the Craft of Research quiz, we have an Auerbach quiz, we have Turkle quiz, so we have a lot of stuff, and then we have the Jurgensen discussion. So make sure you keep up with the reading. Make sure we get back on track. We had all spring break to do what we wanted. I'm still working on grading your second essays, half your class, where I've completed a little bit more than half of my classes. So as you get your grades back on your essay, read my comments, look at my comments, and then send me an email about questions you have about it. I know everyone wants to, well, theoretically, everyone wants to get an A. I know that, and I want you to get an A. When you email me, talk about specific things regarding your essay. Things, I might have made a comment. What's your response to that comment? Let's talk about the content of the essay and not just, I want this letter grade. What are the things that you've done to get that letter grade? Let me think here. I have noticed that some people are still having a hard time with in-text citations. And maybe one of the reasons for this is that the sources that you guys read, they might cite things differently than how we will cite them in our class. In English classes, we use MLA. So that's like our citation language. But when you read something from an academic journal, or publication, kind of like a mainstream publication, they might cite things differently. They might cite things using APA format. They might cite things kind of specific to that publication. So don't allow the sources and how the sources cite things supersede what we've discussed in this class. So you might see some people are putting parentheses and then the date. That's APA. And that's not something that we've talked about in this class. That's not correct. Make sure you cite how we are discussing how to cite and not letting the outside sources kind of dictate the way you cite. Because again, they have different guidelines. They have different requirements to publish in their magazines or journals and in their fields. All right. In English, we do MLA. That's just kind of one of the course objectives is to talk about MLA. And so that's what we're doing here. Let's look also at this week. The research paper prompt is being assigned now. Look, it's not due till mid-May, but it's something that we should be building on. And about that, if you click on it, this is super key. I hope those of you who, I hope all of us are watching this video and reading this prompt. You will have to, for your research paper, respond to one of these two prompts. All right. Both of these prompts are dealing with technology. Your research paper cannot be on any topic you want. Your research paper needs to be on a topic that is related to technology, because that's what we're technology, television, things that we've discussed in this class. You can't have written a paper on TV and a paper on internet dating and then write something on, well, marijuana is not really an issue now. I think it's legalized, but that's not related, right? You can't talk about TV and then talk about online dating and then want to talk about immigration. That's not part of the class. The research paper is not right on whatever you want. It's something that dovetails with all the sources that we've already read. And then you'll build on it, doing your own research using the databases. So you will answer one of these two. Do you think we're coming together as a society? And you'll have to, that's a super broad prompt. So you're going to have to narrow that down to, like, does it lead to depression or loneliness or more unity? Is it political unity? Is it political division? I mean, and you'd have to tie it to technology. So you can't deal with everything that might show us coming together or dividing us. You have to find like a subsection of what you want to study within this broader prompt. Same thing here. And just like we did with the modern romance essay, you can't say, like Postman says, it's a burden and a blessing. You have to go in and you have to add to that argument. And you have to talk about something specific, like smartphones or something like that, and talk about kind of how it's ecological in its change. Okay. So that's a really big thing, because what happens when we get to the proposal, because there's multiple steps to this assignment that we will do week to week, and now, you know, the things that we've been reading and the things that we will read will all hopefully inform our perspective for the research paper. But when we get to the proposal, I'll have students say, like, I'm going to write on immigration, or I'm going to write on marijuana, or I'm going to write on whatever else is kind of the boilerplate research paper prompt. And you can't do it. It has to be on something related to this class and related to these two prompts. So let's look back here. So research paper, we talked about that a little bit. Annotated bibliography, due in 2 weeks. Click on this, read it. You're going to have to read and understand 10 sources, and a maximum of 4 can be from the class. So you can use 4 from our class for this annotated bibliography, and then that means the other 6 will come from the library databases. All right. You'll put them into a MLA works cited page, and then between each source entry, you will write 1 paragraph at least for each source. And in that paragraph, you'll summarize the source and explain how the source will help your specific research paper. Okay. And I'm assigning that now. You got to start thinking about what you're going to write on. I'm assigning that now because it's kind of it's a long process to do outside research, find these sources, summarize the sources, tie it into what you think you might argue. And again, though, you can see that you can use 4 from the class. So theoretically, if you keep up with the reading and you look back, here, I mean, if you do the reading for this week, which I know you all will, Turkel, Auerbach, Jurgensen, I mean, there's 3 right there. I mean, theoretically, you can use those 3 for the annotated bibliography. You can use Postman, that's 4. And then you have to do research for the other 6. And the idea is you don't need all 10 sources for your research paper, but when we do research, we want to collect more data than we need, more information than we need, and then we pare it down, as opposed to not having enough and trying to like tack on outside sources just to fulfill a requirement. So we want more than we want more ideas than we want, and then we kind of whittle it down. Think about it, I mean, as sculpture or woodworking or something like that, the block that you have is always larger than the sculpture that you whittle it down. The block of outside sources, the block of ideas is going to be larger and broader than your final research paper. Your final research paper is going to be kind of chiseled out of all this information that you've collected. All right, so email me with any questions. It's good to get back after spring break. I hope you guys had a nice break, and let's get back to work.